in Beijing for the launch of the OnePlus 7 series, and I want to find out, is this series too expensive, or are they giving us amazing flagship specs for a decent price? Let's find out.
This phone is all about that screen, but the other specs are pretty much all flagship. Pop-up camera, triple camera on the back, big battery, but no wireless charging. It's a big omission for a phone in 2019, especially for a flagship phone, which the OnePlus 7 Pro is. You get a Snapdragon 855, the best processor for Android right now. You get a 4000 mAh battery with fast charging, obviously USB-C, and something very good about the phone is it has stereo speakers as well. Although there is no wireless charging, the OnePlus 7 Pro has 30-watt fast charge. Now that is double the wattage of the Samsung Galaxy S10. The camera setup is of course flagship as well. The specs on paper anyway beat the S10 again. You get an ultra wide, a main camera, and a 3x zoom camera as opposed to the Galaxy S10's 2x zoom. But a limitation from the OnePlus 7 Pro is that it doesn't, as yet, provide video recording from that ultra wide sensor. That can come in an update. The screen is really impressive. It is, without a shadow of a doubt, the most impressive screen I have ever used on a smartphone. It is sleek, curved, bright, and there's something about that 90 Hz refresh rate that just gives you a completely different experience. This is a really high quality screen, and we know that this screen is provided by Samsung Display. This really is the only smartphone I've seen to rival the quality of that display, but of course you don't get 90 Hz refresh rates on the S10 series. You also get that completely bezel-less display. We've seen it on Oppo phones, Vivo phones, and it is the future of smartphone design. Make no mistakes, this screen is expensive and high-end. It would have cost OnePlus a lot of money to put this on the device. You can argue that because of the lack of wireless charging and the lack of video from the ultra-wide, that this phone doesn't quite come close to the Galaxy S10 in those aspects. However, the completely bezel-less display and the addition of the 90 Hz refresh rate put this phone above the S10 series in those aspects. The fingerprint sensor is a 2D optical sensor. This is a new generation and it is just ultra fast. The sensor itself is quicker at recognizing the fingerprint, but because of the 90 Hz refresh rate, it just feels absolutely instant when you unlock the phone. Even though the screen is completely bezel-less and they've installed that pop-up camera in the front, the phone isn't actually that thick. The Oppo Reno, for example, with that pop-up camera in there, is thicker than this phone. So overall, this is an incredible flagship device, but it does have some limitations. So how did people react on launch day in China to the price of these phones?
If you're buying a phone like this, maybe you want to go for the 8GB version. Let's see how the price on that went down. And they're also doing a 12GB version if you want to go for that one. The OnePlus 7 Pro is a flagship phone now. For example, compared to the P30, maybe you could say the P30's camera gives you a little extra zoom, but then you could say, well, the OnePlus 7 Pro has the Snapdragon 855 and this screen is just not replicated in any other smartphone. Even though during the launch event those prices didn't exactly get the best response, this phone is still almost half the price of the Galaxy S10 Plus in mainland China anyway. 4,400 RMB for the 8GB version with 256 gigs of storage In China, the Galaxy S10 Plus is 7,000 RMB and you only get 128 gigabytes of storage. For me, the OnePlus 7 Pro is not a flagship killer. It is a flagship device, but it is still so much cheaper than the other flagship devices. The P30 Pro and the Galaxy S10 Plus are both much more expensive than this phone. But the OnePlus 7 Pro, rather than trying to emulate a flagship experience, is giving us a flagship phone with unique features of its own that you can't find in any other flagships. So is the phone too expensive? In China anyway, I think not. So are OnePlus now making flagship smartphones and no longer making flagship killers? I'd love to know your thoughts, so send me a comment.